Howdy AP PreCal, it's Ms. Kosh. We're going to talk about end behavior with polynomials. And we have seen this, we've done this for a long time. This is the first time I've taught PreCal students how to use limit notation. So we're going to talk about that a little bit. The end behavior of a function describes how a function behaves as it moves infinitely to the right and left. In other words, the end behavior is what happens to the values of y as x increases or decreases without bound. Okay, so this is that new notation that we're going to talk about. And when we see this, we say the limit as x goes to, or you could say approaches, goes to negative infinity, f of x is, and then we will fill in our blank. Okay, so they haven't told us anything else. But it's the limit as x goes to a negative infinity of f of x. I forgot the of. Okay, is whatever. On this one, we would say it's the limit as x goes to infinity of f of x, and so forth. Okay, you can say this, but whatever. I prefer that we know how to say it that proper way, or that when we see this, we say that. Okay, so on this one here, we have, I'm just going to practice using that limit notation. So when we go to the left, so this is the limit as x goes, that's an x, goes to negative infinity of, let's call this function f of x, and we'll call this one g of x, just to be cool. So the limit as x goes to negative infinity of f of x is equal to, well, what's happening? As I go to negative infinity, my y values are getting bigger and bigger and bigger. They're going to positive infinity. Okay, on the right, the limit as x goes to positive infinity of f of x is equal to, well, what was happening? As my x values get bigger and bigger and bigger, my y values are getting smaller and smaller. They're getting more and more negative. It goes to negative infinity. And that's limit notation. Okay, on this one, the limit as x goes to negative infinity of g of x is equal to, well, going this way, it went up, so it's positive infinity. This one, the limit as x goes to positive infinity of g of x is equal to, well, it's going up also, positive infinity. And there we go. I had a concluding summarizing chart. Okay, so if it's an even degree and it's got a positive leading coefficient, then they both go up. Okay, so it might do all kinds of crazy things. So in this one, it could go like, it could do who knows what in between, but it's going to look something like that. Okay, so then we would say the limit as x goes to negative infinity of f of x go to positive infinity. The limit as x goes to positive infinity of f of x is also positive infinity. Okay, so even degree, if we have a negative leading coefficient, then that's going to take this guy and flip him over. And so it's going to do something like, I don't know, something like that. So the limit as x goes to negative infinity of f of x is equal to negative infinity. The limit as x goes to infinity of f of x, it goes to negative infinity. They're both going down. Okay, odd degree is they do opposite things. And so we will, if it's positive leading coefficient, then it ends up going in the positive direction. Who knows what it does in the middle? If it's negative, it's going to end up going in the negative direction, but they do opposite things. Okay, so the notation would be the limit as x goes to negative infinity of f of x. Okay, negative infinity was going to negative infinity. The limit as x goes to positive infinity of f of x is equal to, well, we went positive, positive. Okay, limit as x goes to negative infinity of f of x. On this one, negative infinity was positive, and now this one goes to positive infinity, positive, negative. And there we go. Let me know if you have any questions on that. I hope that was helpful.